Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up. And we have our co-host, right, Cherrard? We're calling you co-host now, right?
Yeah, I'll be the co-host.
Okay. And the co-host of this segment, Mr. Cherrard, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm a little bit antsy about this topic because this is good. This gonna be real good today,
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah. I think so.
So our topic today, everybody, first of all, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Grab your pens and your paper. I promise you, you're going to want to take some notes today. So our topic for today is, should you test drive sexually before marriage? I'm throwing the ball in your court, Sherrod. You can start us off with this one.
I'm gonna definitely say yes. You know, we tend to believe that sex is not really important in a relationship, and I think behind finances, I think sex really is either a one or a two between those, and I think a lot of relationships go down the drain because of sexual incompatibility, whether one person has a hypersex drive and the other one can just do without, or it's not just living up to the standards that you're used to, you know, as far as what you get out of it. You may not be getting that out of your new partner, may not be getting out of your new partner what you received from your old partners.
All right, so we're going to we're going to healthily have a disagreement today because well, actually it's half of me on one side, half of me on the other side, and I'm still working to come to the middle with an opinion that I can live with. I think when, like, for me, I was raised in a church from time I could walk. So I was raised in a church, and so it was pushed down my throat that sex before marriage was wrong. This kind of condemnation thing, okay?
Mhm.
So as you grow into an adult and go through your life, you start feeling like if you indulge before marriage, it's just the worst thing, your condemnation and all this other stuff.
Right.
But as I became an adult, I'm now, I mean, I'm doing some research because up until maybe, a couple hours before we start shooting, I was thinking that the conversation was going to be a little different. Then I started doing some research and my views kind of changed a little bit. And I think oftentimes with women, we're conflicted because, like, for me, I would love to be able to be in a relationship and have the same level of commitment to waiting until after marriage.
Like waiting, like nothing before marriage, like waiting.
Nothing before marriage, but it doesn't mean that you can. I know, I know, I know. I was fighting with myself, and I was like, "Man, am I gonna throw myself under the bus today, or what?" And I was like, "You committed to transparency, girl. Hold to your commitment." So, my commitment is okay. It is about staying affectionate and loving, but keeping yourself from that point of. And the reason that I'm thinking that is possible, and we can debate this, Sherrod, we can
Yes,
debate
ma'am.
it. The reason that I think it's possible because the communication, which we said was like key,
Hmm. It
communication
is.
and being so in tune with your partner. And I think that just takes time to do that, being in tune with them. So and again, pull me out the fairy tale if you think I'm there, but I don't think so. I think that you can be so in tune with one another and so committed to the communication with one another. I think when like we read that article, and I think the 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 thing what happens is when you are not in total communication and in sync with each other, and then you get married, and then you have sex after marriage. I mean, then you don't know. Does that make sense? You don't know. But if you are with each other and you're moving together, you're communicating, you're talking, you're getting that spiritual connection, all of that is right. Then even if you are terrible, I'm talking about the absolute worst sexually, when you get married, I believe you can be taught.
I believe you can be taught.
I knew I was gonna get you. That's why I didn't say nothing before we started to record today, because I wanted true authenticity.
I mean, okay, honestly, I believe
Yep.
that, and then I believe that women, when they, or both men and women, when you need a certain thing during sex or whatever, it should not be left up to your partner to guess what that thing is, right? But for me to say, okay, we're gonna get in this relationship, and we're gonna go however long it takes, however long it takes to have sex. Hey, we done developed the communication. We're talking fine. We're doing everything else, but I gotta still wait. You know, I'd rather let's teach each other now. So then that when we get to marriage, the anticipation of what it's going to be like, it won't be as nerve-wracking. The expectations won't be as high. You already know what you're getting. Hey, I dig this. And then I was asked over the weekend, if you don't have sex on your honeymoon, on that night, is it a big deal for you if you don't have sex with your partner the night of your marriage? you know and
Question.
and then I had to laugh because, like I said, I used to record wedding videos, and I saw some couples that, like, I know you ain't getting none, y'all both blow. And then for me, it's for me to answering it for myself, it would not be a big deal if I got any that night, because here we've been doing it all this time.
Okay, but hold on. Okay, I'm gonna go even deeper with it. Okay, so the anticipation of after, right? The
Oh,
anticipation, the all of that build up and everything. Why does that have to be a negative? Why can't that be
oh,
a beautiful, I mean, like a beautiful dance up into it, a commitment that you both make together, and you're gonna. And this is the thing that I did as I was looking through, and I was like, wait, I really need to kind of understand something. Okay, so we've been, I'm saying we have been, meaning that the general consensus or cultural consensus has been sex before marriage, right? And
the Bible don't say that.
I'm not talking to you right now. You threw my thought way off. You threw me off. You threw me off. Okay, I know something we're gonna agree on.
Okay.
Sex blurs the picture.
It does. Sex blurs the picture if you're not learning who you're dealing with in the beginning. Communication, communication, communication.
Okay, you said learning though, right?
Yeah.
So if we're learning one another, we want to know, as we're learning each other, we want to know who that person truly is, what their intentions are. You know, I think knowing who they are, knowing their intentions allows you to be forgiven, and it helps you to move on when they do something out of, not something detrimental, but just
Right.
something that aggravates you or whatever. You're able to move on because you know what their true intentions is. Because speaking from the woman's side of it, we talked about the masquerade ball. And haven't met everybody, so I can't talk in general, but I can't say
Mhm.
that. But from my experience and from the women that I've, heard conversation from and interviewed and all of that, oftentimes people do come with this masquerade thing going. And it's like, it's really hard. And especially, I mean, we're going to get into, like, okay, not all men are not bad. I don't subscribe to that.
Right, right, right.
But you run into so many narcissistic men. You run into so many con men, so many men that are not being them true selves for whatever, and I call it brokenness, whatever broken reasons or whatever. So coming together and just really getting to know, how many times do we stop and learn the essence of that person for real before because we're looking at, like we said before, being our visual. So, we're turned on by the outer appearance, but I'm talking about the essence of falling in love with that person on the inside.
I mean, I could agree with you to a degree. I mean, but I still
Okay.
can't. I still can't wait. To
Why
have
you
the
can't? Why
marriage,
not? Why not?
because
Why not?
Well, for one, I can understand if we both going into this thing as virgins, so I can't miss what I never had. So we can go into this together, into this marriage thing. It's just an extension of what I've been already doing now, and that's waiting, right?
Okay.
Waiting. And
Okay.
that's assuming we're both virgins going in, because probably one of us lying. Anyway.
See, that's what I mean. No, stop right there. That's what I mean about knowing the true intention, getting to know that person.
Right.
So you
But
can learn a person in the wait. You can learn them.
but you can learn them too, before I mean, throughout the whole process, the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's going to be a learning process. Even when you get married, you're still going to be learning about your mate. You're
Yes,
still
you
going to
are.
be learning about their true intentions or whatever. It might be what he or she said it was in the beginning, and it might not be, because
Right.
hell, I'm looking at a few NBA players. It's like all of a sudden now they're getting divorced, that the careers is over with. It's like,
But should I still go back to that point? If we pull these masks off and we actually really stop and get to know the person, and I'm saying not okay, and I'm saying until after marriage, I get that. But okay, if you come together and both of you, your intent is marriage, right?
mhm.
Your intent is marriage. So you're getting to know one another, you're spending quality time together, you're building that foundation with one another. And in that time, you're supposed to find out about their sex drive, what I mean, and I'm saying find out, not just what they're saying, but how they're acting. Are they a loving person? Are they a caring person? You're learning all these things about them. I'm just saying that, I mean, we may have it wrong. But just because I mean, think about the devastation that happens if you're with somebody, and maybe it's from the woman's perspective because we're such nurturers, but you think this is him, and you're spending time with each other, and but his whole thin line between love and hate, thin
Mhm.
line between love and hate with Martin.
Mhm.
She told him, I mean, that was an extreme example, but she said, I mean, she was good in her meantime. Here he come with his little slick chocolate self, and he talk her out of the pennies, and then all of a sudden now he didn't put a notch in his belt, and now he going about his business. Think about the devastation that you leave behind. Everybody don't pull out no gun and whip your tail, but I'm just saying though, you
Well,
just went and stole this woman's
he didn't steal it.
celibacy.
He didn't steal it. She gave it to him, right?
He swindled her out of it, Cherrard.
No, it's just, see, that's the thing. That's the thing with relationships and accountability. We
Mm-hmm.
have to know who we're dealing with. We have to, because a lot of us have had enough experience to know when somebody is coming into our space and they're not supposed to be there. We should be able to distinguish a person that's deserving of who we are and a person that isn't. And no matter how much BS an individual gives you, you have to stick to your guns. If waiting is what you want to do, then you have to wait. No matter what kind of line I come up with, yo, baby, boo, 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 boo. No matter what I come up with, I am not supposed to be able to talk you out of your draws. You know what I'm saying?
That's the point I'm making. I'm saying folks that are under the celibacy commitment or what have you, then you're right. We have to make sure, and I keep saying we lightly because I'm learning this. I'm, I'm
Okay.
I'm saying what I feel about it, but I'm also learning in this because I've run into the comments and the ones I've run into all of that. So I'm saying I understand that that's real. So it leaves a lot of devastation when you're thinking that it's one thing and it's not. And I'm just saying when you spend enough time together and you allow yourself to really see what the red flags are, you learn all this stuff. But in this meantime of holding out, understanding there is a finish line, when you stay true to that commitment, you yourself are responsible for your day-to-day management of
Okay.
of 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 that of the
Now,
relationship.
okay. Now let's talk about the commitment you have to yourself and
Yes.
the ideal of celibacy. And I'm
Yes.
gonna phrase it like this. This is my analogy for that.
Okay.
I don't want pork or meatloaf. I'm not eating it, no matter if you put it in front of my face. I don't
Right.
want meatloaf or pork.
Right.
Zero. And I'm gonna tell you that up front. So if up front is like, yo, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna wait. I'm waiting till I'm married. You know, if that's what you're gonna do, then you should wait till you're married. Just like I am not eating that pork and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
eating any meatloaf You
Mhm.
put it in front of me,
Mhm.
it's going to be a wasted meal because I'm not touching it. So that's what women have to get to the point. That's where people have to get to the point. You got to have you got to have it in your mind that I'm not doing it flat out, So if you want to come around, we can kick it. We can go out. We can hang. We can do everything, but we are not knocking the boots.
Hey, but wait, Cherrard, but you don't like meatloaf and you don't like pork.
But no, hold on. Well, I don't like meatloaf. I don't. I'm sick of meatloaf. But I
Okay.
loved some smothered pork chops. I
Right.
loved. I
So,
ate them joints religiously. It's just I
so
knew
what?
it wasn't good for me though.
Right. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So again, learning. Um, man, this is a hard topic, Cherrard, because I mean, yeah, you coming back real good with the same by the same token though. I mean, you gave up pork. It's like, okay, if you, but that's the important part of being honest and truthful upfront. This is my commitment. This
Yeah.
is what I'm doing. And if that person, because I mean, there's not a whole lot of men out there that will wait. Some of them lie and say they want to wait, and then down the line they trying. So it's not a real true commitment. And I'm trying to get to the point of having that deep commitment that I'm going to wait until that that person that is, that we're on the same page. If we're on the
Now
same page together, not trying to be in a relationship with somebody and that person is not on that same level of commitment to celibacy, because you're gonna always have a fight and you're gonna have a battle. And definitely if you've already been indulging and then you say, oh, all of a sudden, honey, by the way, no more sex until marriage. That's wrong. It's
right.
kind of it's bold. But again, having that, I'm just such a stickler on that communication up front and explaining why you're where you are, and then that person's reaction to your commitment also is a red flag, because you can people try to change other people or try to convince them to come over to your side, and a lot of people may not be ready.
Now you know what? Now I did a wedding, and the funny thing is the bride and groom had not had sex or anything, and I think they were together for a year, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
over a year, and they
Mm-hmm.
haven't had sex.
Mm-hmm.
And and the funny thing is listening back to the audio because I get to hear everything. Is
Mm-hmm.
she like I'm gonna tear you up now, But now, what if
Uh-huh.
hey we all did the honorable thing and we waited?
Okay.
Okay, we gonna go.
Okay.
We waited,
Mm-hmm.
and just like the article said, she said it sucked. It was nothing like I wanted it to be. This
Yes.
dude is just was whack or she was whack. And
Yep.
now I'm stuck with some whack cakes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No, Cherrard, if you looked at that article, he was a narcissist. I'm sorry, lady. I apologize for this, but because he didn't want to hear what she had to say. In the article, when she came up with, well, she
Right,
said
right,
bring
right, right.
toys and all this stuff in it. He threw the toy out the doggone window. He
Okay,
wasn't
okay,
open.
okay. How about this? How about we go with this scenario? Because
Okay.
he's not open. He's
He
not gonna listen.
no
Okay.
communication up front. Nope.
Let's how about we talk about the individual that I'm game for whatever. He just or she just ain't hitting on nothing. The skill level is just not there.
But Sherrod, is he open? Or is she open? And then the same thing. How did he or she kiss you? I mean, kissing is not that's not a sin. I mean, I'm not gonna say sin. I'm not gonna. I want to put that in there, but I'm gonna
Don't
say,
say that.
I'm gonna say, I wasn't gonna put that in there. I changed it. I
Because
changed it.
Pastor Jones done heard that
We
and said,
ain't going there. I ain't going
yes,
there with Pastor
it
Jones, Sherrod. I'm saying, that, I'm saying that kissing, there's nothing wrong with that. You can have but I'm saying you have to put these parameters around the situation. But I'm saying, did that person passionately kiss you? I mean, you can. It's a couple of songs. I think Cher said it's in his kiss. Is that
is.
person passionate? Is that person, like I said, loving in other ways? Does that person take care of you? Because if that person does take care of you and you take care of him, then when it gets to that point, he's still, or even after marriage, he or she is still going to want to make sure that you're fine, that you're good. So, okay, baby, I don't know. I failed sex ed 101. What we got to do? We got to read some books. What we got to do? That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying the love that you feel from each other, the emotion that you feel from each other should carry over into your sexual experience. And it should be the mind, body, and spirit experience,
I mean,
not just the physical.
you're right. In a perfect world, you're right. You
It's
know,
not, there is no perfect world, Cherrard. Help me.
but
This
that's
is,
what I'm saying. In a perfect world, that scenario will be good. You know, Pastor Jones will be proud of you.
I'm
You
not
know,
playing with
Dr.
you.
Liz, I'm proud of you. You waited and waited, and you know.
You stop it.
I'm just saying he would be proud of you. But let's just bring it back to reality. You
Okay.
know, because in reality, women want it as much as men want it.
Yes, I agree.
And I've heard some women, you know, I've spoken to some women, they said, hey, they're definitely next go round, they're going to wait. And then I know some women, they said, oh, I need to know what I'm getting into because I don't want to train nobody, or I want to just make sure that they know how to move how I want them to move.
Then take
And
some dance classes.
yo, that it ain't that simple. I mean,
Why
okay,
not?
okay, put it this way.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the commitment should not be let's wait till after we married, but let's wait till after we get comfortable with one another. You know, because I think that sounds more realistic than putting a hard line like you can't do anything on this side. We gonna do everything on this side, so we can't cross that line. I just
I
I
think
mean,
it can, because then I think too, I mean, you can, I just believe this, and there are some examples because I brought us some examples because I knew we were going to be on the opposite ends of this debate, this discussion debate. But okay, so a friend of mine, and I'm gonna talk about. I wrote her story down. Okay, she had been single for over 20 some odd years, but you know, you mess up in that between that time because you're right, women do have
mhm,
high sex drives and you know wanted to. So before so she was like 5 years in celibacy because she kept messing up until the 5 years. Then she met a man who had the same commitment and was sick and tired of getting into relationships, and then for some reason things weren't right, compatibility or whatever, and they fall apart. So it's like, okay, well maybe I'm doing it wrong. Let's figure out, let's come together and let's have the same level of commitment that we're going to really take a deep dive and learn one another. But both of our intent is to be married. So let's do this. And to this day, you know, whatever months or whatever down the line, they're still in that commitment. They don't even sleep in the same bed together or anything. Then I go to the other example, Devon Franklin and Megan Good. They talked about the same thing being, I see that look, but they talk about it in the book, and I want to get the book because I don't have it. It's called The
okay,
Wait. And they made some really good points when they were talking about it because they were saying in that time of wait, you learn how to take care of yourself. You focus on yourself. Um, you're growing and you're advancing and you're healing, because a lot of times people run to sex as an anesthesia for some of the brokenness and some of the things that's going
that's
on with
true.
them.
Yeah,
And so now you come into a relationship with all these little broken fragmented pieces, but you done made it up. You look good, you smell good, and now y'all done indulged in sex, and you wake up the next morning and you know you may have feelings of guilt if you broke a celibacy vow. Um, you may have all these wonders and worries, and then we're not even going to talk about the transmission of his spirit once once you have sex. Men are givers, so now you're fighting with his spirit and maybe Jim Jones spirit or whoever spirit down the
man,
way.
not Jim Jones.
Okay, I mean Jim Jones. I just name the two names popped up. Take that out. I was just saying the two names popped together. I didn't mean the person. Take that out of there. I wish we could edit that part.
Because that's an evil spirit,
Okay,
right?
no, we don't want that evil spirit. But I'm okay. But good. When you say evil spirit, you really don't know what spirit you getting in
That's
contact.
true. That's true.
You
And
know,
now, okay, how about this though? And you know, when you're dealing with, like you said, a narcissist, a con artist, the whole 9 yards, they can wait. Because I'm gonna put it to you this way, you know, and it's funny that you say that because we used to joke around back in the day, the homies and I, used to joke around. And it was not actually a joke when we were younger. Because when we were younger, you tell a woman, yeah, I'll wait for you. Woo, woo, woo. I'm gonna smash out her while I'm waiting for you, though.
yeah.
I'll give you what you want. What you need? What you need? What 48 hours? You know?
See, masquerade. masquerade. Ladies, get your pants out. This is the masquerade. I'm talking about Cherrard.
No, but seriously,
Okay.
I mean, no, but seriously, back in the
Yes.
day, that was the game. That was the game. The game was to score as much tail as you can possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
So if old girl over here on her Christian, crusade type of deal, trying to turn the world into Christian, and I ain't doing nothing, but yo, I'm gonna kick it with you. I like you. You're interesting to me, but we gotta wait. Okay, I'll wait on you, shorty. Call me when you want to holler, but I'm gonna be talking to old girl over here because she ain't got morals like this.
You don't have morals.
She ready to get it in right now. So when you call me, I'll be ready for you, and woo, woo, woo. Now, as you get older now, obviously, because like I tell my son, hey, quality over quantity. So you get older, you don't mind waiting a little bit. It's like we ain't got to rush into anything. I mean, you've done it plenty of times. I had it done plenty of times. Now, am I going to wait till marriage to do it? Nah, I ain't going to do all of that now, but if I got to wait a little bit, couple, 2-3 weeks, whatnot.
And why not? You said it depends though. Again, we go right back to it. It depends on what do you want? What do you really want?
But
like,
see, the thing is,
I'm just saying, I'm not asking if this you want to say, but
right.
I'm just saying, like, what do we really want? What's important to you? What do you want? Do you want a man that's whole, that you worked on your stuff, I done worked on my stuff, and our goal is to get married?
Well, see, my thing is, I done worked on my joint. What we waiting on? You?
Okay, then you said let's run on down to the city hall somewhere and let's go on and get married then. Because now you didn't put that commitment on the table.
You could have
total commitment on the table.
You can have a whole total commitment, and see, now that's going to lead into, I think, another really good podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What is marriage? Is it just a piece of paper, or you know what I'm saying? Because I've had that argument, because I know some people that's married, but you wouldn't even know they're married, and I had some people that's not married, and you think because they've been together for so long, you think they are married.
But to me, marriage then, and we can put that into another podcast, is when you have that total commitment with one another, and the marriage part of it is we are going to be companions, we're going to be partners, we're going to work it out through thick and thin. There's nobody packing up their stuff and running. Now, technically, you can get married one day, and I done heard people sleeping with somebody else the next day. I get that, but that's again why you take that long period of time, whether it's a year or what have you. Take that time to focus on one another, get to know one another, and decide. I interviewed a couple the other day, and they talked about when they first came together and started really thinking about marriage. They wrote a mission statement together. I'm saying it's about that total commitment of really coming together, because when you block out all the noise and all the other people and all the other whatever, and you really focus in and say, this is a person that I'm going to build my life with, and they have that same commitment, then when issues and things arise, you can work them out together. You don't hit below the belt. All of these, I mean, these are the things that I truly believe can happen if you're on the same page. So it doesn't take a year, 2 years, okay, maybe a year, because you want to know a person in all seasons. But if your goal is the marriage, then you're committed to that together. So then the sex up front, to me, and I do believe that sex is a huge part of a marriage, a huge part of a relationship. And knowing what that person brings to the table in the sex game is important. But I think you can find that out without actually indulging.
Hold on, you said you can find out what the sex is like before you have sex?
I think you can. I think through the rhythm. I think through the rhythm of each other. I think through how that person, because isn't that the saying? And again, I get sayings all mixed up. So if I mess it up, help me out. And didn't they say it ain't the size of the ship that make you seasick, but it's the motion in the ocean?
Okay.
What kind of motion or ocean is this person really, really, really committed to?
Okay, dig this. Okay.
Come on, Cherrard. Bring it. I'm ready today.
Okay, I got a sermon for you today, Sister Blank.
We ain't even talking about that.
No, okay. Now I've been told by some women. Now, all that motion in the ocean and all, it ain't about the size of the ship or whatever, whether it's a speedboat, a tugboat, or a yacht, you feel me, or an ocean liner. Some women want the ocean liner, that little speedboat ain't gonna do nothing for her, And that's the thing, you know. And then I've heard some women say, hey, he got a ocean liner, but don't know nothing to do. No, he don't know how to use it at all.
Yep.
That's what I think, you know, because that's why I think, you know, it's kind of important. So just say you get this dude that's anatomically correct from head to toe,
Mm-hmm.
finances, got
Mm-hmm.
all the zeros,
Oh
you know,
yeah, write it down.
got
Mm-hmm.
them all, you know. He
Mm-hmm.
opens the door for you. He calls you on your lunch break. He does all things for you. Everything you want, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Outer appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy, not a con artist, not a narcissist. Great guy.
Okay.
When it come time to lay the
Mm-hmm. Yep,
to lay
yep,
it
yep,
down,
yep, yep.
you know, when it comes down to lay it down, give the
Yeah,
pipe, you know,
yeah, yeah.
he's not a plumber at all.
But guess what? That's
What?
why they got a plumber store.
But see, but see, look. Now, are you gonna keep indulging in toys when you want this dude right here to do what he need done?
We're gonna
Or
figure it out. You know me, I'm a naturopathic doctor and they got things for everything. They even
I
got
no no no.
things for
I look.
I mean,
I
I'm
ain't
just
I ain't
I'm saying
saying I
I'm
ain't saying it
saying
don't work. I'm just
right.
saying he ain't good. Some people
He
just
gonna become good because we gonna
okay.
work it out. Cause
So
guess what?
is
We done
is
danced. Hmm?
is he gonna become good because you're going to kind of take a step back on what it is you require, or are you
Nope, nope. We're not settling. We're not talking about settling. We're
okay?
talking about no, we're not. And this is the thing too, Sherrod. A lot of people get this part, I think, backwards. They think that a lot of times people think that sex is that cure all. But if you're not making love to somebody's mind before you get to the sex part of it, then you didn't miss half of the explosiveness that you can have in that period. It got to start outside of the bed. So all those things that you named, everything is all together. I mean, even if we have to go as far as well, I don't really subscribe to surgery, but I'm just taking that as a as an example, not literally, but
Right.
figuratively. If you gotta go do whatever, I'm saying, if you think about it, if you have two people on that same page, just indulge me for a second. If you have two people on that same page and you and okay, your girl is everything. You said you went to the store and everything is right there, everything. And then she just a little bit, maybe she don't have a little bit rhythmically challenged, but that's why you dance together. That's why you fix it. You learn how to flow with each other's body. You learn each other's points, each other's uh, uh, um, parts. You just learn each other from head to toe. And that's
I,
what I think marriage is really all about. I think it's about the companionship. It's about the partnership. It's about the commitment together. So when I say marriage, I'm not saying no long ago freaking courtship that's, both of y'all that just lost your mind because you're so frustrated. I'm not saying that. I'm saying coming to each other in a healthy position because you've worked on your stuff and you take leaving all your baggage from old bad relationships out of it, and you're coming together and you're saying, hey, this is what I'm committed to. I think a lot of people just don't understand, and I don't think commitment is what people really understand. When you're committed to something, if you really love that person, then you want that person happy, you want that person satisfied, you want that person toes to curl, you want smoke to come out the room. So then you do what you have to do that. You giving it 100.
okay, now we can give it 100 before we get married, though, because
I'm
see,
not playing with you.
because this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It's like it's like going to buy a new car, right? It's supposed to work. It's supposed to be luxurious, you know, but you won't know these things until you actually start driving the car. You know, it's like going to buy a house. On the outside, the house look good. Everything good, but then you got to get into the inside to figure out where if the foundation is good, you know, if it even worth putting anything into.
Right? Because you're getting inside the mind.
Okay, now I can get into your mind before we walk down this aisle because it
Inside the mind. Mm-hmm.
right. So that's what I'm saying. You do need to. I think the greatest sex is going to come when you have penetrated up here.
Yep.
It does. Now, what if? See, for me, I don't think you should wait to have sex when you're married. I think you should wait to have sex when you're comfortable with this individual.
Well, Cherrard, people get comfortable with each other talking on the phone for hours and hours. People get
And boom,
comfortable.
you know what? And that's being decisive.
Oh, wait. All
There we
right.
go. You just,
I told you we wasn't going to agree.
you just, you just gave me a point.
So you just gave up the spiritual part of it. You connecting spiritually together. You just gave that part up,
No,
right?
how did I do that? I mean, see, okay, now see, we come from two different places as far as the religion thing and
I'm not
stuff like
talking
that.
about religion, though.
And
I'm not
but
talking about
spirits,
religion. I'm talking about your spirit. You know how you feel a kindred spirit with somebody. You
and
know how
and you
you
can do that
connecting
before you get
spiritually with
married, though.
somebody.
But you can do that before you get married. You can have this strong connection, this strong bond before that. I don't think you walk in signing that piece of paper
And
don't
not
connect your
sealing the
spirit.
deal. You're sealing the deal. You're saying, yes, I'm in it, not just with mouth, but also with action. That's what it is. I just got it.
Okay,
That's what it is. You're
but you
sealing
know
the
what?
deal with your actions, and then with your words, with your actions of everyday living, and then you're sealing the deal with your actions of
Okay,
now committing
okay.
and marrying a
We
person.
talking about signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Okay, Stevie
That's
Wonder
what we
all
talking
day,
about.
right? Signed, sealed,
Stevie
delivered.
Wonder, signed, sealed,
Okay,
delivered. I'm
now,
yours. Right.
okay, we know Adam and Eve did not have a marriage certificate. We know this from the jump, right? So,
See, you're not playing fair right now. You're
see,
not playing
so,
fair right now
so,
because
so they
you're not playing
they
fair.
made a verbal commitment to one another. Actually, Adam owned her because that rib, he pulled that rib off, threw it on the ground, and made a woman. So
Mm-hmm.
that's his woman. So we got
Mm-hmm.
to exclude them because Eve came from the rib of Adam, right? So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, now that
Mm-hmm.
same commitment, though, that same
Okay.
commitment can be had with an individual that doesn't get married,
Mm-hmm.
by going down, jumping the broom, or going to the city hall, or having this elaborate wedding. You can still make those very same commitments to an individual. It's like, okay, we move in together. That's
Mm-hmm.
sealing the deal. That's part of sealing the deal. Hey, y'all
Okay.
can still do all these things. You can get bank accounts together. You can do a bunch of stuff
Okay.
already.
Okay.
And I'm not saying, and I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way. I'm not saying marriage is a bad thing at all. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying
Mm-hmm.
that. But what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is, my question has always been to folks that say married, 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 married. What am I getting out of marriage that I'm not getting out already in our relationship, besides the legalities of it?
And see, that's the and and honestly, in all seriousness, I've had my questions about the marriage certificate versus the marriage commitment. So I've had some, I still need to do some more research on
Right.
why the marriage license became ineffective and some other things that what have you. So, you know, and I think
Well, I'm
when
quite
you
sure
can
the
come
certificate
together.
part was an ownership thing. I mean, I think that's
Okay.
really, I think that's
Okay.
an ownership thing. I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think and I'm gonna speak out against men on this one. I think that certificate was to say, boom, she belonged to me, flat out. That's what I
Mm.
think the certificate was about. And then nowadays, I just think it's about money now.
So when we say marriage, so I guess this is the part that we didn't define. When we say marriage,
Mhm.
what do we mean? If we're being, if we're being totally transparent about marriage, what is, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different versions or different views of what marriage is, whether you're coming from the biblical stance of marriage, whether you're coming from, what the commitment between two people marriage, or when you're talking about, okay, here we are, we're getting on each other's life, what do you call it, life insurance policies, we're gonna get on each other's bank accounts, we're gonna I'm gonna change my name and take your name. So it's a lot of different variables. That's why I
Right.
said coming together and understanding what the two of you mean and what you've carved out as what it means to you. Are you, which perspective are you coming from? But my thing is being on the same page, having the same level of commitment, coming together, having a good understanding. Are we, do you believe in mixing beliefs as far as marriage? Can that work? If I'm Christian and you're, whatever. I'm just saying,
Right.
coming together and having that true understanding. And that's what I mean when I say really getting to know one another, getting to know your background, your history, your family, your this. Can this come together? Can this work? Because I think a lot of people meet up, they see what they like, ooh, they got chemistry, they have, all of this, and then they jump in the bed together. Now you done mixed all kinds of stuff together. Now you're not even thinking with a clear head. And then you look up and this person is doing this, that, or whatever. And you're like, wait a minute, that don't line up with my integrity or my character or my morals or any of that. But you jumped in the bed, you start sleeping together before you even gave yourself the opportunity to know each other and to really form a relationship and a bond. And I think that's oftentimes where we make that mistake.
Now, to be totally honest with you, and you and I discussed this earlier, that an individual can get married the whole nine, and then that whole flip, that change can still happen.
Oh,
An
absolutely.
individual
No,
that's
for sure.
married, because I've heard some horror story. Woman says, "Hey, I got with this guy. He was cool as far as he worked and the whole nine." They got married. Boom, dude was like, "I ain't working no more. I quit my job and this and that and the
Mm-hmm.
other."
Mm-hmm.
Or you get that woman that when married before marriage, y'all tearing up everything in every room at any time. But then when y'all get married, all of a sudden, I got a headache. I don't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So marriage is not one of those things that's going to prevent anything. It's not going to prevent cheating. It's not going to prevent anybody from changing to be, into something else. That's
Mm-hmm.
why when I used to listen, when I would hear the pastor or the ministers doing the ceremonies, and then I would hear, I'm always love you the same, you know, this ring right here is the union and all this, and we're together, we're bonded as one. It's like, no, you're still y'all interdependent beings. Y'all not fusing together. If she hurt, you're not going to necessarily hurt. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing about um uh we're this one thing, this one unified thing. A lot of times that doesn't happen, so why do I need to get married to enjoy all of things, you know and let me actually clear something up. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that I'm against marriage at all. I think, when you get married to the right person,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're just committed to the right person, man, life is really beautiful when you
Mm-hmm.
have that individual that will roll with you. Y'all laugh, y'all joke, y'all
Mm-hmm.
live, love, and laugh together all day long, you
Yep.
know. And then that spiritual connection can be had without being married, legally married.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in some states you have what they call commonwealth states, where you
Common
live with a
law.
person, yeah, common law marriage, where
Yep.
you
Yeah.
live together for a certain amount of time. Y'all married in their eyes.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so you don't really need that official walking down the aisle moment. I think those are just moments people like to look back on, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as the commitment can be had between two people that just basically love one another. It's like, yo, I love you, you love me, and this what we have just works.
What two things that I want to comment on what you said about the fusing part together. You know, I mean, again, because I'm going from a spiritual perspective, and my belief is that you can fuse together in your spiritual thing. Where like you can look across the room, and then again, it doesn't. I'm not saying that this is in the legal form of marriage. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about being so spiritually connected to someone that you all, you're together and you finish each other's sentences, you feel each other across the room, and true. And when that person hurts, if you I mean, the person hurts just like with your children. The person hurt, you feel that. So I'm talking about coming together the way that I believe that man and woman was actually meant to come together, to complement each other, to support each other, to nurture each other, to give each other the balance, because you're going to be different. And that's what makes it fun. And what you said too, you have to be able to have fun together. You have to be able to talk to one another, but being able to be your true, authentic self with that person, and
Right.
that person loving you enough. And that's what I was talking about earlier, loving you enough to say, not take it personal or be offended if you are not fulfilling your partner sexually. Just fix it. Figure out what it is and then fix it. And know that that person loved you enough to come to you and talk to you about it instead of going over here where she know Mr. Ocean Liner can handle it. That's not what she was looking for. She wanted you. She wanted, and that's what I think a lot of times, like we might think our shortcomings and we are the ones that's dwelling on that. Like you said the other week which was really wonderful when you said that. You said, women sometimes say, but my stomach or whatever. And you're like, okay, so what? Some men like heavier women, some men or full figure women, some men don't. But the woman is the one, or the man is the one that's dwelling on that shortcoming. So maybe that was something that he was hiding, that he didn't feel sexually adequate. But again, that's something that's broken in him that just needs to be fixed. And if you have a woman that's going to gently guide you to that repair, or a man that cares enough about you to say, babe, that don't match, whatever. If you have somebody that's that open with you, then that's something I think you should embrace. So, when I said that about the hard line about marriage, again, like I said, I'm still learning.
Right,
It
right, right,
is
right.
it is challenging, but the one thing that I am committed to is really, really understanding whom I allow into my circle, who I allow to be close to me. It, male or female, as far as friends or whatever, we have to be guarded of that. And then as we're going back to, our subject of, should you test drive sexually before marriage, that's still kind of, I want to say ambiguous, if that's the right word. It's because it's like, what does marriage mean to each individual? And I think that's what we uncovered. And what's the period of time? How long before you think you know somebody? How long
And
before
yeah,
are their actions lining up? It's again coming from a healthy place. Are there actions you can see somebody and think, oh wow, and then y'all start a communication relationship or whatever. But how are they treating the people around them? How are they treating their children? Well, how do they act when they get bad news or whatever? All of those things are indicator of who that person really is. That person lying, cheating, stealing. Is that person say they don't drink, but every time you look up, they got a fifth or something? You know, all of these things, all of these things is the total picture that I'm talking about. And people do hide their own who they are. They can hide it for a while, but you know what? Eventually that true person comes out. You just have to do that interrogation.
I'm,
Who you
and,
about to
I
say?
mean, you're correct. You do need to find out who that individual is before you have sex with them. I mean, I agree with finding out who somebody is before you give them one of your most prized possessions, and that's you, and that is the most prized possession. That's you.
Mm-hmm,
Your
mm-hmm,
body, and then your mind and your spirit. So you have three
mm-hmm,
possessions that people need to earn.
mm-hmm,
You know, and whether you wait to marriage or whatever, you know, that's that. I think that'll be one of those hot debates that'll be a forever debate.
mm-hmm,
Should we wait or should we not wait? I
mm-hmm,
For me, I'll just be blunt and up front and
mm-hmm,
just say no, I'm not gonna wait. I don't want to wait.
mm-hmm,
And because I do want to know what I'm getting into. And you know what? And I'm gonna go out on a limb and I say this as well.
mm-hmm,
Just because I had sex with you before marriage,
mm-hmm,
and it may be everything that I want, it might be all the cookies and milk I want.
mm-hmm,
Hey, marriage can jump off and change some things. Things happen during a marriage that change things. She could physically have some issues, mentally have some issues that go on that make it hard for her to do what she used to do.
mm-hmm,
So, as a partner, I have to be understanding of some of those changes that are bound to happen.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And one more thing before
Yeah.
when we're not living together,
Mm-hmm,
we're gonna sex might be plenty because every time we see it's like boom, 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 we into each other. Once you move in with somebody though,
mm-hmm,
it does typically slow down, especially if
mm-hmm,
y'all working, you know, um, hours don't match up or whatever, things do happen.
mm-hmm,
You just have to be in tune with yourself enough and know that the commitment you all have is real. So sex before or after marriage, I'm not gonna wait, you know, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not knocking anybody that does.
mm-hmm,
I'm just not gonna wait,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know.
Again, I think, and I go back to the, compatibility and learning what your partner want, and just actually knowing yourself, knowing
Mhm.
what it is that you want, and
Right.
knowing what it is that, what your standards are. What are you looking for? What do you really want? And I think a lot of people don't even know what it is they really want. You know what I'm
That's true.
saying? I think
That
they
is
don't
true.
outline what is it that you really want. I mean, like we said before, anybody can run and have sex with anybody else. It's not about that. It's about really knowing what's your bottom line? Beginning with the end in mind, what is it that
Right.
I really want out of this? And, I think, for me, I've run into enough relationships that I didn't make the best of decisions with, in marriage and such. So, I saw my mother and father, they lived this fairy tale relationship in front of me. Nothing perfect, I get that. But they lived this relationship in front of me that it gave me this sense of how much they like really, really truly loved each other. So much of so, my dad, he passed away of dementia. And as he saw himself, it was like a 10 years, like I understood what the longest walk home was all about because as he was going into what he called a dark space, and he was telling her, my dad, like he fell hard for her. When he met her, he fell. And he said, he told us, joked all the time or whatever, it was supposed to be a one night stand, y'all, but I couldn't stop coming back. And so, but as he was going into this darkness, and they've been together 40 plus years, um, he told her to go and find somebody. He wanted her to be with somebody because he wanted her to be taken care of. And he said, just do not let me know. And she said, I'm not doing that. Quit talking about it because you're not going nowhere. I remember them having this debate back and forth with each other. And they had such a love for one another that, he talked to me and he said, he forgot all of us. He said, I said, Daddy, I'm gonna take care of her. I said, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of her. Because he kept saying, I'm tired, I'm ready to go. But she kept saying, no, you can't go. You're not going. No. And he was like, I'm tired. And I said, Ma, he tired. He's ready to go. And she said, okay. And when she finally said, okay, he passed away. And he smiled and he passed away. But I'm saying that I think that love can be so amazing with the right person when you're spiritually connected, when you care that much about each other, when you really, really love each other. I just think, and I think that's just for me, that's worth waiting for and holding out for. And then in the meantime, just making sure I'm the best person that I can be and enjoying, in the meantime.
Okay. Now, hey, that was good, but it's
Yeah,
not guaranteed. Even if
no,
you
it's
wait,
not. What?
that's the bad thing about it. There's no guarantees. You know, I look at it this way. You know, whether you have a, you know, you meet a woman, you have sex on the first night, or you wait 10 years. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. You know, and when we talk about women giving it up on the first night, does that make her loose, a hoe, a freak? No, that means she probably was just that connected to you at that time. That's a possibility where some people just get. I've actually had relationships, and it's not many, but I've had a couple relationships where that first night or that first full conversation, you're like, this person is the shit, and y'all just bond, boom, and bond, and like I said, and I've admitted, I've had those relationships where it was just great, everything was going good, but hey, for me, I messed it up with greed. It's like, man, you get some outside attention, like, oh damn, she thick as hell over there. Let me just test this out over here. So I've messed up some good relationships. Like I said, waiting until after marriage, doing it on the first night, whatever. There are no guarantees in either one of our um, uh, perspectives on wait or
Right.
not. There's no guarantees.
I've
So,
heard I've heard men say that, after, if they can talk a woman into it or talk her out of it or whatever, or, if she does on the first night, it changes their perspective on her. That's
but
in
see, if
it.
if
Go
if
ahead.
that's your goal, though, remember, if that's your goal to talk her out some tail on that first day, then
Mm-hmm.
of course you're gonna think that way about her.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is the funny thing, and I've talked with a lot of homies, like, man, have you ever just been kicking it with somebody? You on some, get to know for real, but it just happens. Y'all just get comfortable. And I ain't saying, you don't want it to happen, but in your mind, you're not thinking about the sexual part of it. And and that's what me and the guys laugh about, it's like, man, it's like we call it falling into some cakes, right? Like, man, have you ever just fell into some cakes, man, and you ain't even planning on going to get none, but you went over there, y'all kicked it, and everything lined up, and next thing you know, man, you on the rodeo. You know what I'm saying?
But again, we're on opposite sides of the fence on this one, Cherrard, because everything is a choice.
It is. Everything is a choice. But
And you can choose to not fall into those cakes
hey,
because you
but
really, really want to
oh, no,
get,
no, no, no. You're
yeah,
right. But see, what I'm
yeah,
saying was my perspective about her was not a negative one, because
it
I
didn't
do
change.
understand that you can have an incredible energy with somebody, and y'all can just be like, man, this shit just feels good. It just really feels good. The conversation is, man, and in your mind, you're wondering, like, are they like this 24/7? Is this who this person really is? And
Mm-hmm.
then when y'all, when you do what you do, and then you find out, okay, this person is like, you it progresses, you know.
But the, but does it last, Sherrod? Because
Does
I've
anything
had
last?
people say that too. I'm talking about the that foundational piece because you like it's like I've heard men say, well, that's how we date now. That's how you start off. You start
Yeah,
off in the bed and you work your way from there. It's like, okay,
I'm not going to. I won't. I'm not going. I won't agree with that. I'm not going to agree
okay,
with you start in the bed. You
okay,
don't. You start up here. You know what I'm saying? Because
okay,
you start in the head, not in the bed. And you have to
okay,
talk to an individual to get to know who they are. That's the only way. That's how I operate nowadays.
okay,
Now that I think with this head, that's
okay,
how I operate nowadays. I'm older.
okay,
When you're
okay,
younger, hey, you go down the street, you see a skirt, you ready. You know,
okay.
and and for me, and I need to ask some young guys how they view it, because back in the day, women were not as naked as they are now. I don't think. You get on social media, you know,
Yeah,
it's
true.
it's it's all you see is butt, breasts,
Hmm.
all over. That's all you really, really, really see. You didn't really see that for us unless it was on a video. The
Hmm.
average woman wasn't out here dressing like that or doing, these silhouette challenge, these busted challenge, all these sexual things. You
Hmm.
know, for me, just seeing it on a regular basis like that, now I want to
Hmm.
know, what else do you have to offer?
Mm. And some people, and some are from the other perspective of, when it's covered up, you know what I'm saying? When it's covered up, it leaves something to the imagination. And so, I mean, it's just, go ahead. It's
No,
just
no,
what,
I'm agreeing with you. It's like
yeah. So it's, I think it's, again, it's personal. It's just personal preference, personal commitment, personal, conviction. It's like, what are you committed to? And what do you, again, going back to that same question, I keep asking that because I was asked that question. What is it that you really want? And when I start looking and making my list, of course, I don't know if everybody do it, but I do it. I make lists about everything. So making a list about what it is that you really want. And then, wait, no, I don't really want that, because sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for,
yeah, because
because
you
you
might
just
get it.
might get it. And
Yep.
I heard somebody say, ooh, I wonder what it feel like to have somebody just so head over heels, just so crazy about you that they, and I'm just like, no, I've experienced that, and that is not a
Right.
good thing. That's not, so be careful what you ask for, be careful what you pray for, because it'll manifest. And then you're like, wait, I meant this. No, that's not what you said.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
not
what you
what you
told the
put out
universe.
there. That's
Right.
not what you put out there. So you got exactly what you asked for. So be careful. So, in my, just my final thoughts in it is just, to thyself be true. It's what you're committed to, what you want, but just have a clear vision. Like I said, with the other couple that came on that left us with a beautiful thought. Have a mission statement. I think we just don't, we sort of walk around haphazardly, kind of sleep, and, not really knowing what it is that we want. What is it that you want? And making it clear, being plain, and understanding that what you want is fine, and what you don't have to conform to somebody else's
Right.
to what somebody else wants to please them, because then you're not being true to yourself. So for me, to thyself be true. I think this is a conversation that's going to go on and on and on, just like the war of the sexes. But again, that's my take on it, is to thyself be true and know what you want. know what you're willing to commit to, and know what you're and also know that you do not have to settle.
That's true.
Cherrard is back in your court, sir.
Hey, well, I mean, that was a good saying. I'm still not gonna wait. I mean, because for me, it's
Well,
like
yeah, so you
it,
being true to yourself and you
you
being
know,
honest and open with it.
yeah,
The thing of it is, Cherrard, is that some women would say, well, he's attractive and conversationalist and intelligent, and I'm gonna get him to come over to my side. You know what I'm saying? And women, yeah, tell them,
it ain't gonna work.
ladies,
I mean,
listen up.
because honestly, it's not gonna work because, like I said, for me, you can't miss what you never had.
Yeah,
I happen
okay.
to have had it, so I like it. And it's one of those things, I can give up pork, meatloaf, drinking, all that. I gave all that stuff up. I got rid of all my bad stuff. I can't get rid of that,
Y'all, he
And
don't like pork and he don't like meatloaf, y'all. I'm just
hey,
kidding. Go ahead.
hey, I loved pork chops. I loved it. I love ribs. You know how it was in the beginning, it was hard to go to a cookout when all it is, you smell ribs. No beef
Yeah.
ribs, ribs.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So but being really serious,
Mhm,
no, when I say I'm not going to wait, it's not like I'm going to pressure a woman into having sex,
mhm,
because in my mind, I don't have a time frame on how long I'm going to do anything. Like as far as I gotta have this before 3 weeks. I gotta have this. That was back in the younger days when the goal was to put them notches in your belt.
mhm.
Nowadays it's like I don't I don't mind sitting and kicking it with you and conversing with you and all of this. I don't mind that. That's cool. Because I do want to get in your head, because for me, the turn on is, what do you have upstairs? Because once we get out of the bedroom, there's all
Mhm.
these other hours of the day that we can't lay down, or we're not going to be laying down. I want to enjoy you not only in the bedroom, but I want to enjoy you sitting there. If I'm cooking in the kitchen or you cooking, we're talking. I want to enjoy you in the living room where we just watching TV. I want to be able to enjoy you in all aspects of our relationships and relationship, and not just the sexual side of it. Sex is cool, but it's not going to be the glue that actually keep us together.
So I have a bonus question for you, Sharon. I forgot to tease everybody about the bonus, so y'all gonna get a bonus anyway. So this is a burning question, and I'm not the only one that have asked this question. I've had other women ask this question as well. So now, what if you meet somebody that has everything that you said you're looking for, and she says, it's hard for me to wait too, Sherrod, but guess what? I feel very, very convicted and very, very guilty afterwards, and it just sticks with me. It just really sticks with me. But we didn't hit it off on every other. How do you help her deal with that? Or I mean, it's not your responsibility, but as a couple or thinking about a relationship, how do you help her to deal with that when she's saying it's not that I don't want to, it's that I just hate dealing with the weeks of guilt afterwards.
The weeks of guilt.
Weeks of guilt afterwards.
I mean, if
I
if
mean,
if she if she's gonna feel guilty about it or whatever, I mean, for one, like I said, I'm not gonna pressure a woman into doing it. And then you saying she wanted as much as I wanted,
she wanted it. Yes, she does.
then we just both got to do it, and then we just got to work through this together. That's all. We got to seek some counseling or something.
Hold on, did you say do it first and then go see counseling, or you said go see counseling first? Ladies, listen up. What did he say? Did you say
It's like,
see
yo,
counseling? Because she said, look, I'm telling you, I have a high sex drive. She tells you all of this, and she
yep.
said, but it's gonna be 2 weeks that you're gonna see me with my face on the floor, and I'm gonna be dragging myself because I'm gonna be so convicted for it. How do you now? What do you do with that? Because you said everything, and it's like, what is it? The 80-20 rule. So that's probably about the 20%, but she bringing 85. No, she bringing 95% to the table. So she got 5% of that going on. What you do?
Hey, but honestly though, I mean, if she's gonna feel guilty about it, like I said, I'm not gonna push her into doing something that she's gonna feel guilty about. And then if I'm being really truthful,
Hmm.
if we get into a situation where it's gonna go there, I'm
Hmm.
I'm, I'm gonna be flat out. Like, remember, you said you're gonna feel guilty about this.
Yeah, but she in the moment, Sharad. She done already
Well, you
told you
know
up
what?
front she needed help. Now she in the moment. And
Hey,
she already
well,
told you that she got an issue and a high sex drive. What are you gonna do? I mean, because you've you've spent time with her and you really care about taking care of her heart.
Well, if I'm taking care of her heart, then and it was really in her heart to do it because she got this high sex drive. I'm gonna help you take care of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to hey, I'm here to help you through all aspects. You know what I'm
You
saying?
didn't say you was gonna take her to therapy first. You said you wasn't gonna work it out with therapy. What you
Yeah,
gonna do, Cherrard?
but at that moment, but you just said at that moment, this is what she want, and and I'm being a good dude. Me being a good
You
dude,
call that being a good dude, Cherrard?
yeah, me, the good dude that I am. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
help her with this. I'm gonna help her rectify this matter right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Like,
Then
uh-huh.
then when she start feeling guilty about it,
It's right after she gonna feel guilty.
well,
So,
I hold her, console her, be like, yo,
ladies, y'all hear to
hey.
thyself be true. You hear what Cherrard's
She
saying?
was being true. She was true to herself. She the sex drive, it took her over. And then what I did was I'm gonna walk her through this little maze, this labyrinth, and then when we get to the end of the labyrinth and she feeling guilty for taking that trip with me, I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
look, yo, I got you. I'm gonna have her come talk to you. So
Now she pregnant and guilty.
hey, hey, no.
We take that off.
Don't say the P word.
That's instant to thyself be true. Cherrard, what else you got for us?
Nothing. I'm just I really do appreciate the conversations that we have, and I hope that what we do, although we joke around quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
you're silly and I'm being serious a lot. you know
Really now? See, you put the ball up, put the responsibility on me, right? Again.
But I do
Go
hope that
ahead.
any individual out there that does come across the videos and listen to them, that if they got a question, they can go ahead and ask it, and then we'll try to get back with them with an honest answer. Or I hope that what we've said thus far helps somebody, who does have a question and don't want to ask. But I hope we've answered some questions. Hell, I hope we've entertained some individuals as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're gonna put some information down in the description box, and again, the only thing that can come to my mind is, and I think that's what I've been working through and working on as well, is just really understanding myself and working through any issues that I may have. Because ladies, well, I'm gonna say ladies listen up, but just anybody, it is so unfair to bring your past brokenness and baggage to somebody else and expect for them to make you happy. I always say this: you should be the whole cake. Like my mama used to make this wonderful 7-Up cake. You should be that whole cake. And then you bring that whole cake to the relationship. Not perfect, because sometimes, some stuff was chipped off, but not being perfect, but just bring a truly healthy person to the relationship. And unless it's extreme situations, when something is not right and you're trying to seek that person to make you happy. And it's not, that's never going to work. Just seeking, that's not fair to put that responsibility on somebody else. So just know yourself, know what you want, have your stuff together. When you come to somebody else, then you expect for them to bring to the table what you have. And then now you got a good cake, right, Sharad?
Yeah, and stop trying to fix broken men.
Oh, next podcast.
Hey,
Up to
hey,
come. That's a
stop
good
trying
one. Well, until next time, everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you stay fearless. The word is share. Share this information. Sometimes people can't hear it from you because you're too close, but they can hear it from coming from my perspective or Sharad's perspective. We're all in this together to help. So bye for now. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.